Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to another Starcraft 2 broadcast here at SK Gaming. My name is Zanaris. Today we're here watching a 1 vs 1 from the SK Champions Trophy Grand Finals. This is the best of 5 match series between QXC of now Team FXO against SeleCT down here. So we have a Terran versus Terran. Let's actually go over a little bit of player background information while we wait for these guys to start building here. So we're here with SeleCT. We'll start with him. Real name is Ryu Hoon. I think I pronounced that right. And he's actually a 22-year-old player from South Korea. However, he is playing in the North American server. I think he kind of goes back and forth. He is currently on Team Dignitas, and he is a former Warcraft 3 player, and also played Dawn of War. And actually, recent accomplishments in terms of StarCraft 2 tournaments, he did take third place in the IGN Pro League recently, and he is going to be looking to take first or second place here in the Champions Trophy Grand Finals. Now, over here we have QXC. He is a man well known in the StarCraft 2 community, StarCraft as well. Real name Kevin Riley. He is from the USA. Former Brood War player. He actually was ranked, or he's rated B in IAC Cup. He also attended the same college that Day 9 did, Harvey Mudd. Currently, his recent stats, actually, he took first place in the Go for SC2 Cup, number 104. The TeamSpeak Team Liquid Open, number 13, took first place in that. And he's also participated in a lot of small, medium tournament series in 2010, and actually just rocked those. I mean, you can go to the Team Liquid player database and just look at the record. You could see for yourself. The man definitely knows what he is talking about. He's actually an accomplished StarCraft 2 map maker as well. He's made several build order tester maps, and yeah, he has a lot of community involvement in general. So very excited actually that this guy made it to the Grand Finals. SeleCT is actually a returning player to the Champions Trophy Series, and QXC, I think this is actually his first time, so he is going to be looking to make a nice mark. He's already left a very solid impression here with the viewers. I want to thank you guys for staying tuned in. Also want to thank our sponsors, that's Kingston and Bigfoot. They are actually donating the grand prizes for this tournament. Oh, nice. Take out that SCV so very close. Oh, no. Oh well, we have SeleCT coming with a Reaper on the way right now. That could probably pop in, do a little bit of damage. Maybe pick off that Marine as well. I don't know. We'll have to see. Anyways, grand prize for this tournament, $250. Alright, and both of these players will actually receive a Killer 2100 Gaming Network card, simply for making it this far. Oh, you poor SCV. Oh well. Watch him for just a second there. And yeah, so nice little engagement there. Reaper took out the Marine and SCV, not too surprising. 2 kills already for SeleCT. Looking down in SeleCT's base, we could see, okay, he's running on 1 gas right now, but he's using most of his SCVs on the minerals, and this is why I wanted to get that early expansion down. Looking over at QXC's base, we see he has actually got no command center, but he does have a factory here. So I'm kind of wondering what he's going to be doing. He's got 1 Hellion already. So we've got that and a reactor, so he's going to be looking to get some Marines, early defense, and maybe dropping the expansion down here in a little bit. I don't know. His money's sitting at around 300 right now. Nope, keeping that down, though. There's the starport. So he's going, possibly, I'm thinking we're going to see some kind of a drop play here. Because when you've got, 2 SCVs and 2 Reapers coming over, the SCVs are trying to tank, and of course the Reapers do, uh-oh, that's not a good thing. I think this Reaper attack might actually be very short-lived here. He is going to try to get that Hellion. Oh, he does take out the SCV, but just a second too late. If he had just gone a little bit straight over path, he may have been able to take that out and delay the drop. But SeleCT does know important information. He came over, he saw Starport, he saw the factory, the barracks, he knows what's going on. He's going to be expecting some kind of a drop here, especially since he saw that only 1 gas was claimed by QXC. We can see the plant, or the orbital command is now completed, and our command centers rather is completed here, returning into an orbital command. Can probably expect to see that float over in just a moment or two. But for now, we see SeleCT is actually dropping over down a bunker. I think that's a very good idea. He knows those Hellions are going to be running around He, of course, sees them running in this path right here. So, yep, sure enough, there we go. He even sends that SCV away because he doesn't want the Hellion to come over there and get the kill. And now we have QXC getting ready to drop in the back of SeleCT's base. Will this be super effective, though? I don't know. He's got the medevac, obviously. He's got 8 Marines, no stem. That's going to be the problem. He does take out the SCV, building the engineering bay. Also takes out an SCV getting the gas, so that's going to hurt as well. He's going to have to watch out. SeleCT is going to have to make sure he does not lose that tank. The Marines can obviously burn down the tank pretty quickly. So, yep, sure enough, there we go. QXC is retreating because he realizes those SCVs are going to be able to repair. All the while, what's going on over here? QXC harassing with 4 Hellions, trying to bust up the ramp, while his Marines are doing more damage to the economy, making SeleCT actually bring a number of his SCVs off of the mineral line and forced to defend. Look at that. We can see the impact of that now. QXC pulling ahead for just a few seconds, and you see he's also running 4 more Harvesters than his opponent. Let's see, is he actually going to pick up the Hellions now? I think he is. Maybe do another drop inside the mineral line. Of course, if he decides to come in, he's going to have to go through this top area right here, as that's really the only way that he's going to be able to get in without his opponent seeing it. But look at this. SeleCT siege mode is now finished, and he spots this drop with the command center. So you see, for sure enough, 1 Marine instantly dying as soon as it lands out of the medevac there. So that siege tank, of course, doing tons of damage, paying for itself. Look at that, 3 kills right there, and QXC is still trying to push this Hellion drop. He's trying to do as much damage as he possibly can, but now, I mean, he's out of units. He's got nothing. But let's see the effect of that. Of course, the SCVs were transferring over there. You see actually a couple of them sitting around. 31 to 23. So QXC definitely ahead in terms of the workers. You can see very, very much saturation here. As his command center is just about complete. We do have 2 additional barracks hanging out over here, and a 3rd one is on the way. No siege mode just yet for QXC. We'll actually wait and see what he's going to be doing with that in the coming minutes here. But he knows that SeleCT isn't really in a position to be doing any sort of major attacking, so he's probably not too worried about it right at this point. He is also getting a Banshee. I do want to point that out. He doesn't have any cloaking technology, but he will be able to use that Banshee to come over here and pop off some of these SCVs that are very low on hit points. He knows that he left his opponent in a pretty damaging state. He didn't do a ton. He didn't get a ton of kills. He didn't get a significant amount of kills, but not a ton. But he knows he also weakened several units. Now we'll see how this attack actually goes here. He is dropping the Marines in a nice little pattern right there. Not too... Oh, he's actually using the Marines to absorb a lot of damage there. I think he's trying to position the Marines to do splash damage onto those SCVs while they were... oh, nice! He took out that SCV, building the missile turret. Very, very close. But, yeah, he was using those Marines to stack on top of the SCVs, so the siege tank splash damage would kill them, but we see that SeleCT learned pretty quickly, and wow, that Banshee, 2 hit points, definitely going to have to get that out of there. We'll see exactly what he's going to be doing with this. I think he's just checking out the base and then heading right on back. Looking over in QXC's base, you can see it's relatively untouched. Not any battle damage over here. Of course, the Banshee is going to have to be repaired. It's going to take... God, that repairing takes forever. I don't know why, but whenever I actually watch a replay with a Terran repairing, I think it just takes like slow motion. I don't know. Maybe I'm just insane. Either way, we are going to have a nice little Viking duel here. QXC gonna have to nope, not land it. He's gonna have to lose it there. As looking over here, he may decide to do an attack. I don't know how successful it's going to be. 2 siege tanks, one of them has the high ground, so it's going to be very difficult for QXC to actually push in here and establish himself a position that he can reinforce as the fight progresses. And I do want to point out right now, actually, it's kind of funny. Both players are actually supply blocks, 62-78, so going to be looking to rectify that. We do have a little bit of lag here. All right, there we go. As now QXC loses, or takes the middle of the map, rather, does not lose it. Takes the middle of the map, control the only watchtower there. Going to be scouting out for expansions over in the 3 o'clock position. And SeleCT is just going to be continuing to build up at this point. He knows he's in a good spot, and QXC taking this 12 o'clock position. Very good move there. He knows that his opponent is going to be on equal income, relatively equal income here, since they're both running on the naturals. Of course, he has a few additional SCVs, and those SCVs were over here working on minerals, whereas we're going to see those transferred over to gas here for SeleCT in just a second. Yep, sure enough, there we go. So 40 to 44 right now in terms of economy. Units lost so far, we could see that QXC has actually done a little bit more damage than his opponent. He's done a good job staying on the offensive there, doing a couple drops, and looking at the workers lost. Look at that, 19 to 2. So SeleCT has had to rebuild a lot of his economy there. And this one siege tank might go down. We don't see any reinforcements coming over from SeleCT just yet. I do believe there's actually nope, thought there was a drop there for a second, but no. That is going to take out. He's going to take out one siege tank, and that's going to cut it there. So let's look up here in the base once again for QXC. We can spot that he's continuing with the siege tank production. He's got a whole bunch of upgrades on the way. So does SeleCT. Both players just kind of hanging back right now and macroing up. Neither one of them really feels in a comfortable position to assault. He knows that SeleCT is going to be able to have the superior siege tank range because of the Vikings. He's going to be able to use those to spot. And also, the fact that SeleCT has the high ground up here, there's really just not a lot that QXC can do against that type of defense. Looking at the units tab, we can see 54 SCVs to 47, and yeah, not a whole lot going on, like I said before. 33 Marines to 19. We are, of course, waiting for one of these players to make a move, maybe here. All right, QXC moving out with that Banshee, going to be doing a little bit of a scouting, and looks like not going in for any additional harassment. Do we have one Marine coming over for SeleCT, actually just heading? It's an interesting spot to head to. Maybe QXC will spot that, one of his passing units, as that is a kind of a high traffic area. Oh, here he goes. Yep, 3 Marines coming over there, taking that out. I think he saw that with a missile turret, and Marines down. So SeleCT does have 5 siege tanks here, or 6 rather, so 2 additional ones coming out there. And so he might actually be in a good position to try to take the middle ground. 5 siege tanks, but you see the QXC is already established here. He's not sieging up though. Now SeleCT is moving out towards the middle of the map. You see he's going to establish that Terran defensive line. Is he going to actually be able to push forward with it though? I don't know. QXC, you see he's kind of backed off just a little bit. He doesn't want to overextend himself. Uh-oh, a couple Marines running down here. Oh, got to make sure he controls those. Did a good job catching those at the last second. As SeleCT looking to take another expansion, we can see the effect of this though. Look at this, SeleCT only has his natural, whereas up here, QXC, he's actually transferred a number of SCVs, I think, over to his natural. But you see, despite the fact that they're actually running with 1 additional base, you can see that QXC is running with 10 additional harvesters, but those mules, they're definitely doing a good job for SeleCT, keeping up the economy there. So not too much of a difference. No player really has an advantage either way. Although as time goes on, this expansion is going to be more and more important. The fact that he got it up before SeleCT here. Of course, if they do decide to duke it out, as long as one player doesn't get caught horribly out of position, then QXC will be able to field reinforcements quicker and hold his ground. So there we go. Now actually QXC looking to move into position. Ton of Marines taking some damage there. Losing 1 siege tank. Look at all those craters. That's what's left over of QXC's forces, as a lot of them, like I said, ran into the siege tank line there. SeleCT, of course, does have aerial superiority, so he's able to, again, like we said earlier, come in with his forces, scout out, and provide that superior visual range for the siege tanks. Plenty of sensor tower coverage here. You can see nice overlapping area right here. SeleCT, of course, has all of his forces well within QXC's net, so he is aware of everything that's going on there. Also, SeleCT, I think it's a very smart move that he placed that watchtower right there. And now, here is another expansion for QXC, trying to stay one up on his opponent. But you see, SeleCT is going for the high yield expansion, and is now moving, trying to catch his opponent out of position. He knows those Marines are trying to guard, and look at the drops coming in here. The Marines were not able to, or the Air Forces were not able to come over here and stop it in time, so the Marines are actually going to do some pretty heavy damage to the economy here. Look at all those SCVs going down. Also, looks like he was kind of, well, no, he's, okay, there we go. For a little while, he was spreading his damage over several different buildings, but he finally focused down the supply depot that did have the attachment onto it. So you're going to see, actually, that did hurt him just a little bit. He's now supply blocked, 153 to 168. in favor of QXC. Looking at upgrades right now, we can see nothing on the siege tanks for Select, and nothing for QXC. Marines, I think actually 1-1 across the board there. So it looks like Select is actually going to try to push out here. Marines actually coming over here, or staying over here, taking out some of Select siege tanks, but Select, by and large, had not a lot of difficulty pushing out and taking the middle of the map. Now, I'm a little curious as to how QXC is going to handle this. He obviously wants to take that back, but with such a large siege tank presence here in the middle, he is going to be hard-pressed to do it. Oh, but that could not have worked out better for him right there. Marines walking right into the siege tank line of fire, and uh-oh, QXC's running in, perfect timing on the stimming, and catching a lot of those air units off guard right as the siege tanks were unsieged, ran in, got some free kills, and now ran out before suffering too many casualties. Now we're going to have to expect to see QXC to try to do some additional economic harassment here. He knows that this war is going to go back and forth siege tank lines, so the key to it is knocking out one player's economy and, you know, just not allowing them to reinforce that big wall that they have in the middle of the map. Of course, both players, the walls are severely diminished right now. Only a few siege tanks here, couple Marines, that's about it. Whereas, you know, QXC, he does have additional drops. Of course, Select continuing to push up here in the northern part of the map. And here's QXC's drop right here. Looks like he's just kind of taking shots at whatever he wants to. But the Marines up here are actually taking out all the SCVs. Look at that big old junk pile right there. And now the command center looks like it's going to be going down as well. So QXC will be losing that expansion. As you see, a lot of those Marines actually were taken out by the couple siege tanks there. And oh no, QXC not able to hold on to that expansion. He is going to be hurting in the economy a little bit here. We can see now he is even, despite the fact that he had that base not less than a minute ago. And oh man, that's definitely got to be hurting for QXC. So we'll expect to see him secure that expansion here again as he does move again towards the middle of the map. I like how he's approaching from the way that their siege tanks are actually lined up here. So this is actually going to let him do some pretty serious damage, popping out a ton of those Marines. Look at those things just exploding. Giant ball of fiery death right there in the middle of the map. So QXC now reestablished himself in the middle of the map here. He's got a good position to launch from. Of course, Select does not have a lot of Marines down here, but he is actually going to be needing to expand again in a little while if he wants to continue on. But look at QXC's minerals right now. Oh, QXC, what are you doing, you sly dog? Oh, he's doing the Marine drop. All the siege tanks are firing on each other. Did not get any serious kills, but oh, that was very, very smart play nonetheless. Very, very smart play. QXC is known for doing little neat, nifty things like that. So now that that did not work super well, let's actually see. He is going to be taking out that high yield expansion. Going to be trying to get that there. SCV already parked and good to go. Got a couple medevacs here in the middle for Select. So again, the name of the game here, we got the wall off, and oh, Select, oh no, what are you doing? You're going to be doing the same thing as your opponent. Oh, but look at how effective it is. Marine bombs. Oh, the Marine bombs. That is just Select showing you how it's done, man. Oh, that was just exciting to watch. QXC lost like 5 siege tanks to the same thing he tried to do no less than like 2 minutes ago against his opponent. But now QXC, you see he's got the Marines up here. He's going to have to bring those back and deal with the middle of the map here. You know, just continued economic harassment going on. QXC again going for the main drop. You see he's not actually trying to drop in the mineral lines, though, which are pretty well guarded. I mean, he's got the planetary fortress there, so that's not a huge deal. But look at this moving down. He's actually going to be maybe using this dropship to ferry over a bunch of forces for his siege tanks to spot. Of course, Select realizing that he still has the middle of the map, going to continue to reinforce that, and all the while trying to press forward over here. But you see, he has no choice other than to just run in with his own Marines. I think it's interesting he's not trying to move those Marines. Look at this one Marine now in between these 2 siege tanks. However, definitely not going to be able to live for very long. Very nicely played by both players so far. As you see, the main base is continuing to be under fire. Select is having to bring over a little bit heavier of a response this time. Plenty of Marines, couple siege tanks, able to deal with that without too much difficulty. And now we're seeing another drop from QXC. Uh-oh, he might lose one dropship. Oh, no. Lots of resources lost in that attack. Very nicely handled by Select. So all in all, look at this, 55 to 55. But you see QXC definitely hurting on the economy right now. Oh, look at this. This expansion just about mined out. Uh-oh, here comes Select moving in for the kill in the middle of the map. Will he actually be able to do it, though? Here comes QXC, tons of Marines trying to catch these siege tanks unsieged. However, you see they do siege up, but not before suffering very heavy casualties. Now QXC is able to push forward here and maybe retake the middle for himself. I don't know. Of course, with Select with the medevac support, he is going to be able to be in a little bit better position here. Of course, the siege tanks as well, already established, going to lend themselves very well to this defensive strategy that Select is going here in the middle of the map. Now, he's actually going to be maybe dropping again here. Yep, sure to... Oh, look at that scan from QXC. This time he knows what's going on. You see he's actually moving out in full force, maybe trying to move in the north, catch those dropships. No, he's going to be moving in and then possibly maybe pushing the middle. No. Kind of an interesting positioning there. As I think at that point that's where somebody just lagged out. I don't know exactly what's going on with that, but you see he knows this drop is running around somewhere around here. Sure enough, he spots it and he wants to get to it before it actually gets to this expansion. Did he pop the right dropship? No, he did not. So we're seeing now these Marines are able to run in here and do plenty of damage to this place without having... Oh man, that lag's pretty atrocious there. Sorry, I had to cough, so I had to actually end up pausing it there. Oh, thank you for going away finally there. And so you see he's having to run the long way around, stemming up just to get over here. And now the Marines, of course, for Select are just focusing down the SCVs. We can see how that's impacting the economy there. Look at that 19 SCV deficit compared to his opponent right now here on the Shattered Temple. As this expansion getting underway, Planetary Fortress, good call there. Making another command center, probably float that up somewhere up here. As you see Select is moving to try to catch QXC. Again, having the middle, this does afford him the nice convenience of being able to just kind of swing his defenses to try to catch any sort of run-by of them without having to run too far. I do like this watchtower, though. I'm glad they decided to leave one of these in there when they removed the other two. And made this a lot more wide open. You see they removed a lot of that high ground there. Definitely a good call, in my opinion. But over here, we have Select, again, establishing himself in the middle of the map. Oh, QXC running in two different positions here, as Select's forces are getting drawn way up north as he tries to move in for the kill. He knows he can nail those 4 siege tanks. Sure enough, there we go. The medevac support going to be able to heal up a lot of that damage that he just suffered. And now we have mirror towers over here. Sensor towers, I think, almost in the exact same position, just in different spots in the map there. You can see actually just slightly... oh, no, it might actually be in the exact same spots. I don't know. But either way, another command center floating off for QXC, like we were talking about a little bit earlier here. Going to be looking for these players at some point to just get behind the enemy lines and knock out those SCVs. We saw Select has done a pretty good job of that. QXC early on in the game did, I think, a pretty good job. Oh, nice, doing a little bit of damage there. Select almost popping off that dropship worth the Marines. But, of course, QXC in the early game, he did a very good job of continuing with the harassment, but unfortunately, he really has not been able to follow it up a whole lot. He has done a drop here and there, but by and large, the economy for Select... Oh, will he be able to get this 17 hit points? No, he does not. Select's economy has actually been in a pretty good spot. Select, of course, does have a couple Marines hanging out up here, and QXC will actually spot those, not have too much problem taking those out. Select actually reinforcing the middle. Again, plenty of medevac support. I think that's been one of the key things that we haven't seen a whole lot from QXC here. Not a lot of medevacs. He has been going with the... of course, he has them for the drops, and he's been using them limited with the big engagements, but mostly it's just been Marines and siege tanks, and I think that's really what's helped QXC here. That, and the fact that he took that high yield, he was able to produce a ton of siege tanks there, pretty much in what we consider the mid-game compared to what the time we are now. We're in the 15-20 minute mark here. But now we're moving on past the 30-minute mark here, and the expansion for Select, where QXC is going to be suffering some very heavy losses. Look at that. Select doing tons of damage. First the Gatherers, now the Orbital Command going down. That's going to be another source of income loss for QXC, but you see still 60-49, and QXC is now going to have this high yield expansion. Of course, it's just about mined out as well here. But you see Select is actually moving on with this expansion as planned. Taking out that right there. All right, not too surprised at that. So looking at the spots for income, we could see, all right, this is SeleCT. He's got a ton of SCVs there, and it does have a planetary fortress, so pretty well guarded. Also 2 missile turrets, so no Banshee harassment can happen there. And it looks like we have a couple Marine drops here, and SeleCT, QXC doing a very nice thing there. Looks like a couple Marines. That nice thing ended very quickly. As QXC once again tried to move in and take out the siege tank. Will he be able to do it, though? This one Marine, no kills. I don't think so. Oh, he does! He takes it out, forces the siege tank. Splash Them is there to take out that siege tank. Now here comes QXC again, looking to take the middle of the map. Will he be able to do it, though? Siege tanks already in position. Only 2 of them, though. Compare that to QXC. He's got a lot of siege tanks right here in midfield, and I think he's actually going to be able to do it. So the tides have turned, folks. QXC now in control once again in the middle of the map, and will he be able to push this and make something of it? It's hard to say. We're seeing actually SeleCT moving down here with a bunch of Marines looking to get into QXC's gas line, and that's going to be a pretty heavy loss there. Obviously not something you want to have happen when you're trying to constantly produce those siege tanks, but look at this. QXC now established a nice siege line there, cutting off his main base from the rest of his forces there. And here comes, oh, that just died in 2 seconds. Not even. So what is SeleCT's options at this point? You can see he's dropping down additional barracks over here. But with the fact that his main base is cut off from his main source of income over here, soon to be, oh, nice catch with those siege tanks, getting some free shots there. And speaking of free shots, 2 SCVs get taken out rather quickly. So SeleCT is going to have to do something about this. He does not want to be cut off. Of course, he can always go this way, but the fact that QXC is able to hold this right here and isolate the middle of the map is going to keep SeleCT, number 1, on his toes over here. Number 2, it's going to allow him to keep SeleCT away from that middle of the map. He wants to keep the fighting over here at SeleCT's front door, rather. And I think he's going to do exactly that. So with more siege tanks on the way, he is going to be in an even better position. You see, he's also started taking out both of these barracks. He's taken out both of the SCVs there. So SeleCT not in a great spot. However, he does have a couple additional siege tanks running over here. I think both the players actually have O2 upgrades on the siege tanks. Yep, sure enough. 3-3 in the Marines there, 2-3 in the Marines here. And will he actually be able to do anything? No, I think this is going to go down for QXC. But he is still holding this position. This is a very nice fallback spot. And looking at the gas, wow, QXC definitely didn't have too big of a loss there, losing that gas line. But you see he is able to take this expansion here, and this one once again getting off the ground. Of course, some minerals still left over there, but we have actually just about mined out the map watching these guys duke it out here in the Shattered Temple. This expansion relatively untouched. This one, I'd say it still definitely has some fight left in it. Excuse me. But, you know, this is definitely going to be getting down to the wire here in the coming next 10 minutes or so. I'm really curious as to whether or not either player is going to be able to secure an expansion and have enough oomph to push through this line. This line, of course, being this one right here. QXC is going to have to bust through this. It's going to be pretty difficult with 3 barracks of creating the wall and another one up here. So with the siege tank support, but you look over here, SeleCT is bringing his barracks over, trying to keep an eye on these siege tanks, see if he can spot anything, maybe any weaknesses. Wait, he's going to really want to see when these unsiege. He knows when these unsiege, an opportunity is going to arise for him. But you see the Marines are actually moving across the map to this position over here, which I'm really curious as to how that's going to work out. Winning, you got a whole bunch of Marines over here. Okay, that's what I was about to say. I hope he's not just going to try to bottle himself in there with those Marines, because it really wouldn't work out super well for him there. Basically be a giant shooting gallery for all the siege tanks that QXC could field out here. But speaking of shooting gallery, look at that right now. A couple siege tanks already going down. QXC did suffer, unfortunately, 100% loss there, but he did force SeleCT to blow a stem, run up there, and get his forces way up here in this part of the map. And you see he's actually moving out some of his siege tanks now, maybe hoping to push this a little bit more. SeleCT getting ready to lose the siege tank. Sure enough, there we go. SeleCT does have a number of Marines out here. I don't really know what his options are at this point. I mean, he could try to run out here and pop off these siege tanks. I don't exactly think that's going to be super effective, though. He just does not have the income right now. Doesn't have the, well, really much of anything to handle this. I mean, yes, he definitely has a decent income, but when you consider, uh-oh, here it comes, folks. All the Marines running over here, going to try to pop off the siege tanks, but again, they're staggered. He's able to get out of his base at least and not completely annihilate the middle. But look what's waiting for him. I mean, a whole bunch of dinged up Marines running out, busting up a few siege tanks, and this is really going to give QXC the A-OK to run in here with this, wow, literally running in here, the move command on his Marines. Unfortunately, suffering some pretty heavy casualties. But yeah, that's what I was talking about. Any move that Select made a few minutes ago would have basically told QXC, you know what, I'm committing to this, and that means I'm going to be vulnerable somewhere else. If he decided to move out with the Marines here, he would have suffered brutal casualties from the siege tanks, and he chose to move up here, which I think was another good choice. But still, again, the lesser of the lesser two evils right there, just going out in the south, eventually lost those forces. So QXC, realizing the good position he's in, he's going to continue to push forward now. You see, he's established the siege tanks, a great covering spot. There's the GG from Select. That's going to give QXC game number 1 in this. Wow, this has just been one hell of a TVT matchup, folks. Back and forth the whole time. The only thing we're missing, battle cruisers and nukes. Oh, man, maybe we'll get some of that in game number 2. I don't know. Make sure you stay tuned, find out what happens next.